Hello, my name is Juan Pablo Sciurano. I'm from the University of Buenos Aires, University of Parma, and the board member of Agroecology Europe. In this first international conference on school meals, I will be presenting the organic and agroecological food access for children and youth in Argentina. My presentation will be divided in 6 topics. The first one is the Argentina's paradigmatic imbalance on food production and food security. The second will be a case study, the access to organic and agroecological healthy diets in the city of Buenos Aires. The third one will be centered on public policies and interventions in the country. The fourth one will be centered on social and solidarity economic initiatives from agroecological movements. The fifth will be another case study that is called the School Vegetable Garden and Canteens as a learning space for the promotion of eating habits and healthy lifestyles. And the sixth will be a presentation of the Society of Spectacle that we're seeing in many countries and in Argentina. So, first point, Argentina paradigmatic imbalance on food production and food security. So, from one side, in Argentina is one of the most exporters, food producers. In the years 21 and 22, it's been the 6th world wheat exporter with 16,000 millions of tons. The second one on corn with 42.500 million tons, just second after USA. On barley it's been third after Russia and Australia, and in sorghum it's been the second only after United States. We are facing nowadays a world crisis after COVID-19, and now with the war ongoing on Ukraine and Russia, where one of the most concerned issues is the production and export of wheat. Argentina in this can be shown as one of the world players on the export of food. So being one of the main exporters has a big problem on the population in terms of poverty, where in the first half of 2020, 40% of the total population was under the poverty line. And in terms of children and adolescents under 18 years of age, the proportion rose to 57%. So between 75 and 80% of children and adolescents living in poverty live in households where the responsible person is employed. This source of UNICEF on 2021. Regarding the anthropometry in children and youth from 0 to 17 years old, we have the situation in Argentina present critical numbers. The proportion of underweight and wasting in population under 5 years old is between 1.7 and 1.6 respectively. The proportion of short stature at the national level was 7.9, with a significant difference by income level. This is one of the main problematic issues in Argentina, the differences between incomes and expectations of life from children and youth, according on the place where are born. So, and then the proportion of overweight in the population under 5 years of age was 10%, and the proportion of obesity in the population under 5 was 3.6. Excess weight was present on 13% of the population. Girls and boys from 5 to 17 years old, the proportion of thinness in the population was 1.4. The proportion of short stature at national level was 3.7, changing again according to the income. And the proportion of overweight and obesity in the population aged 5 to 17 was 20% and 20.4% respectively. Excess weight was present on 41% of the population. In terms of food safety, according to recent study, from a total of 135 of the most widely consumed fruits and vegetables analyzed for 30 different kinds of pesticides, 65 from the samples, detected chemical residues. From this 75%, 56 of them were above the maximum residual limits according to national regulations. From the other side, 75% of total chemical residues found on rice samples were from banned pesticides according to national regulations. So we can see that it's not only what people eat, but it's in terms of quantities and qualities. We found that most of the food that is sold in Argentina is in serious danger for the population. It's interesting in this introduction phase of my presentation to discuss how is measured poverty in Argentina. The National Institute for Statistics, that's called INDEC, used the income approach following the concept of absolute poverty. According to this method, a household is considered poor if its income, that is the sum of the income received for all household members, is less than the poverty line. The latter is a normative concept since it presents the value of all goods and services that are considered necessary for a home to satisfy basic needs. So INDEC defines the basic food basket as a set of food that meet certain nutritional requirements and of the reference population. Certain nutritional requirements are codified in terms of calories, and on the second part of the definition we find food consumption pattern that in the case of Argentinian population clearly reflect the capacity of economic capacity, so buying cheap food low on nutritional balances, so what is called empty calories mainly. From the another side, we have an environmental degradation and contamination bring many problems, including health. Children are particularly vulnerable, mainly in rural areas and peri-urban areas. The way in which exposure to chemicals and pollution affects them different from how it affects adults due to the different biological characteristics. In Argentina, more than 2.7 million children and adolescents are at risk due to pollution, deforestation, and climate change. The areas with greatest risk for children and adolescents derived from environmental factors are found in the north of the country and in the peri-urban areas close to the large population centers. So this first point gives us a picture of what's going on in Argentina in terms of population, access to food, and poverty. These are the relations. So how in Argentina is built the poverty? You can guess that if the measurement of poverty would include higher quality food, more people would be poor in the country. So statistically, it could be an inconvenience. So let's go to the second point. So it's a case study that's called Access to Organic and Agroecological Healthy Diets in the City of Buenos Aires, a case study that I developed in the year 2020. So the autonomous city of Buenos Aires is the capital and most populated city of Argentina, with 3 million inhabitants in an area of 203 square kilometers. The case study presents the minimum cost of a diet from more than 60 organic and agroecological foods available in more than 200 points of the city of Buenos Aires, linked to different short value chains. We considered the GAPA, that is a tool developed by the National Directorate for Health, Promotion and Control of Non-Communicable Diseases, that contemplates regulatory assistance, training, promotion and evaluation aspects of food. And from the other side, the Lancet guidelines developed for the broad scientific commissions of different countries that take into consideration food, planet and health. We make this analysis of the three different diets. From one side, as we've seen, the basic food basket that is full of food that is high in calories and low in nutritional micro and macro nutritional elements. So if we think that the national guidelines are different of the basic food basket, well, something is wrong on that. No, this would be obvious that the guidelines should go on the determination of a basic food basket, but it's not the case. So there is a big difference between GAPA and the basic food basket. From the side of the GAPA and Lancet, we have differences mainly on the amount of animal production food. So Lancet suggests much less milk, cheese, and meat on the diet, adding legumes, soy, and dry fruit. So the results from the basic food basket, considering it the requirement for a family of a couple of 35 years old and two childs of 9 and 6 years, the cost would be around €304 for the basic food basket. The organic and agroecological GAPA would cost $461, means 61% more than the basic food basket. And the organic and agroecological Lancet would cost €390, 28% more of the basic food basket. When we think how many families would, or which kind of group would access an agroecological and organic diet, GAPA or Lancet, we find that only the high middle class and the high class could be able to access to them. So if we think that which kind of population could access, would be a few part of the city of Buenos Aires population. So as elements for the discussions, there is a significant gap between basic food baskets and GAPA and Lancet recommendation for health among different alimentary groups. The basic food basket should be more integrated with GAPA, and poverty line should be determined considering health recommendation and not only calories plus alimentary habits. So there are another studies that give more or less the same numbers of more than 50% of difference between basic food baskets and a healthy one, not only considering organic and agroecological, but consider any kind of conventional food. So, the first point, there is a significant gap on the recommendations. The second one, the GAPA should at least be integrated, if not be the determinant for the poverty line in Argentina. GAPA, from other side, should include some environmental aspects that until now is not included. And there is a broad offer in terms of organic and agroecological products from different alimentary groups. So organic and agroecological food could in terms of diversity feed the population, and there are recent studies that agroecological and organic production could easily produce for all Argentinian population. If we think which has been exported, we can easily find out that, but there are many studies that are proving that in terms of quantities of production, minimum in terms of production and population. So both healthy diets based on organic and agroecological products would be affordable only for the groups that are medium high and high class, as I said before. So what's going on that? So we have a group of population that could easily choose between organic, healthy, and not organic or agroecological foods. That is a small part of the population, and there are actions that can be implemented there but are in terms of awareness of consumption. There is a huge part of the population in Argentina that couldn't afford organic or agroecological plates. So this gives us the path to the third point, that are the public policies and interventions on food security. So we are going now to see which are the public, and then we'll see the civil society actions that are addressed for that part of the population that are not able to, from one side, to access to food in general. And we will see which are the policies that are being implemented. One of them is called Precios Cuidados, that are mainly a voluntary agreement between the state, manufacturers, distributors, supermarkets, and wholesalers, which establish a reference price for the most representative products of the mass consumption basket. So the agreement is, of course, with big companies and organizations and the state that try to put a maximum price in order not to increase the cost of the basic food basket. The second one is the plan Argentina Against Hunger of the Ministry of Social Development. And here I will present three of the main policies on this plan. The first one is a food card. The food card is an instrument to access to basic food basket. It allows to buy all kinds of food with the exemption of alcoholic beverages. Addressed to mothers and fathers with sons and daughters up to 14 years old, and pregnant women from 3 months who receive pregnancy allowance, and people with disabilities who receive the AUH, that is public support for people that's with low income. So at the end of 2020, 33% of national population with children and adolescents under 14 years old had the food card and used it. And it reached 2.4 million holders and more than 4 million people, including children, adolescents, and pregnant women. According to a research made by UNICEF on 2021, in terms of impact of the food card, there has been not yet consolidated as a tool to improve the quality of nutrition in targeted populations, much less as a mechanism to improve healthy diets. 9 of 10 holders who received the food card did not receive any type of information on nutritional food education or trainings or workshops on healthy diets. So most of the people who hold the card has been buying the same food that has been buying before, so the cheapest one, buying in the supermarkets because there was not any kind of incentive for smallholders, family farming, organic or agroecological producers in this program. more than that, most of the family farmers and smallholders in Argentina are part of the informal mechanisms, and very few of them have the possibility to work with the card. So most all of the buying related to the food card has been made in the big supermarkets and big distribution channels. A second tool of the national program is the assistance to community eateries. It supports monthly with technical and financial assistance to 5,500 community organizations. We provide regular food services in community eateries to 564,000 people in situation of poverty and social vulnerability through the country. It doesn't include any kind of organic or agroecological food, nor the relation with smallholders or family farming. Mainly it's assistance with different organizations that connect trainings and support, but big part of these are part of donations of big organizations of food production. A third instrument is the assistance to school canteens, that it seeks to improve food services in school, financing a reinforcement of the diet in those attended by boys and girls who are in a situation of socio-educational risk. It's important to say that many of the children that are going to the school, one of the main purpose is to eat in the school. So starting in 2020 with the aim of improve the nutritional contribution of food services, offering higher quality rations with a better and greater amount of protein, fiber, minerals such as iron and calcium, and the inclusion of milk, yogurt, and fruits. Going to the third part, the social and solidarity economy initiative from agroecological movements. One of the main one and most interesting that are nowadays is linked with the Union of Land Workers, the UTT, that is a national-based movement that is doing a lot of campaigns and initiatives supporting the food sovereignty through the agroecological production. So on 2020, they start to develop the network of popular eateries for sovereign food in order to unite small producers with social organization for popular sector to receive fresh, healthy food at low prices. This network, totally transversal, grew rapidly, and in a short time it's already had the will of more than 170 social organizations that provide food assistance to more than 50,000 families in the city of Buenos Aires and the province of Buenos Aires. Among other things, they made a recipe for eateries, for popular eateries, and distributed, so they are working at different levels. First of all, with their members, so farmers, and then trying to get linkages and bridges between the people who's living in the city, trying to access with their food directly to them, creating notes of consume, and making awareness campaigns and making campaigns of donation to the most needed groups of population. For them, healthy food not only satisfies hunger, but also nurtures a project of transformation and social emancipation based on the right to good living. This is how we were able to reconnect our struggles, those of the countryside that works the land and those of the city, with the slogan, "Land for those who work it, and hunger is a crime." Second, a fourth case study is the school vegetable garden and canteen as a learning spaces for the promotion of eating habits and healthy lifestyles. This is a case of a secondary school located in the urban area of the city of Balcarce, that is in the province of Buenos Aires. Well, given the lack of a laboratory in the school, the development of an organic vegetable garden was thought as a great natural laboratory, which could enable the implementation of various processes, putting the food issue at the center of the debate from the perspective of food and environmental education. This is one case. There are many similar cases. I try to bring this one, but there are many singular cases all over the country working on the same dynamic and ideas. An interdisciplinary group is carrying out the project aimed at putting the food issue as a social fact from multiple perspectives, and in this way to be able to achieve common goals, encompassing the entire institution in an innovative educational project, so involving the different teachers and the different subjects. They have, with some of the teachers, more success than with others, but with many of them working together, trying to make the whole work of the small farm of the school as an integration on the subject as biology, mathematics, social science, and so on. Simultaneously, other actors have been incorporated into the educational process, with the technicians of the Pro Huerta, number 13, and the different programs that are occupying that role, together with numbers of interdisciplinary teams constituted to the purpose of carrying out the food and environmental educational projects. So different parts of the Ministry of Agriculture, mainly in a program that's called Pro Huerta, that is supporting small farms at the urban and rural areas. So a multidisciplinary team has been working on the school farm. This project and other projects that, as I say, are spread in different parts of the country have and are having significant impact at local level, mainly in three dimensions. The first one is the implementation of a teaching learning process where a synergy is produced with different institutions, but especially with the neighborhood. The second one is the incorporation, in this case, in this secondary school, of a work proposal to the alternative pedagogies programs of the General Directorate of Culture and Education of the province of Buenos Aires. Things like this are happening in different places in the country, and the idea is to put the center of the farm and the food as a key element to facilitate dynamics between different subjects of the curricula. Many things has to be yet done on this dimension. Food can be one of the connection points on a system of education that's still very disintegrated between subjects. Thirdly, the work has allowed, in this case, to the construction of another type of legitimacy towards the neighborhood and the community in general, since the school children were previously being very stigmatized by the behavior of them into the community. So this changed a little bit the perception of the students of the school in the community. The last point is the society of the spectacle. I will cite Guy Debord. The reigning economic system is a vicious circle of isolation. Its technologies are based on isolation, and they contribute to that same isolation. From automobiles to television, the goods that the spectacular system chooses to produce also serve it as weapons for constantly reinforcing the conditions that engender lonely crowds. One example is MasterChef celebrities. We've seen that food is becoming one of the main attractions on television nowadays. I will cite how this program is promoted. with the leadership of Santiago del Moro and the most prestigious jury made up of Donato De Santis, Damián Betular, and Germán Mariátegui. This edition, the most outstanding participant of the 3 seasons of the contest compete against each other. The complete reality show, in its 88 broadcasts of 2021, had an average of 20.1 of rating, the equivalent of 1.5 million people watching the show every night. Probably you all know what's the dynamic of MasterChef and the celebrities, no? I would like to briefly comment on another television show of the Argentinian public channel that I think it's incredibly inspiring. It's called The Witch Pot, Popular Cuisine, and it's promoted in this way. From the healthy, safe, and sovereign food area of the central market, a training plan and donations are carried out for cooks who carry out their daily work in popular eateries. Dolly Rigoyen, Narda Lepes, Lele Cristobal, and other chefs meet to cook to share secrets and techniques on the preparation of fruit and vegetables with tasty and nutritional recipes to collaborate with those who need it more. This is not about the programs or the people who's participating in the programs. For example, Dolly Rigoyen, that is a chef, participated in both programs. What I want to show here is how we see the mainstream programs and what can be done. And this is a very inspiring process, I think, of media. It starts with 2 chefs. One is, in this case, Ximena Sáenz, that is a very known chef, and another one is a chef from a popular cuisine that is giving food to many needy people. So they join together in the central market of Buenos Aires. There is a cooperative that is getting food from different farmers, from different institutions, from different donors, and they deliver and they support with this food to different eaters in all the country. So this program is produced inside the central market, where 2 chefs, one of the eatery, popular eatery, and one very known chef, cook together, share recipes, and then share values of nutrition and of different ingredients that are recommended for a healthy diet. After a known chef prepared together with the responsible chef of popular cuisine, they bring back this menu, they prepare it, and then they deliver it to the people that's going every day to that cuisines and social centers. So this is an example of how connections can be, how public television should look like. To conclude, the access to organic and agroecological food for children and youth in Argentina is extremely limited in these days. Government is not including them in any specific policies, and the actions on food security are not effective solving main health and nutrition components of food security. Civil society, from social and solidarity economy, is giving creative answers and hope, but still depending on donation, and it's not structured. Hopefully, things will change in the next years. Thank you very much for listening.